as a friend, a musician, a journalist, a historian, I stand on the shoulders of those who helped amplify the stories of our community. Flaco helped tell that story of the west side of San Antonio, and he did take it to the world. And I could name everyone in this room, where many of us are friends, but I must especially note people that I've stood on their shoulders to get the word out about Flaco, but they've been shouting it from the rooftops forever. I have to thank Juan Tejada, the late Chris Strouchwitz, Graciela Sanchez, Ramon Hernandez, Elaine Ayala, Joe Nick Patowski, the late Michael Corcoran, John Philip Santos, Jack Morgan, John Burnett, Sam Kendrick, Bill Baird, Katie Vine, Jim Beal, the late Carlos Guerra, Deborah Martin, Michael Quintanilla, of course Joe Trevino, Max Baca, but most especially this journalist, a man named Jim Keast. He was the writer and the editor who wrote Flaco's obituary with me. He did it so quickly and so smoothly, and for those that saw the story, it was wonderful because of Jim's tremendous efforts, not only on the story, but to get it out there so fast. And I just want to thank him. Sometimes some of these people behind the scenes don't get that credit. I'll end with this. Flaco Jimenez never forgot where he came from, never. And he is a reminder that our stories matter. Thank you.
Thank you, Hector. Now, one of the things I love as a musician that I loved about Flaco is that he played corner accordions. That's what I love. The other people are probably not going to agree with me, but that's okay. So I would like to bring next up Gilbert Reyes Horner, who is here to speak on behalf of Horner. Not sure if Gilbert's here just yet. Is he here? No? Okay. We'll come back to Gilbert. He just made me waste a free plug. See what I mean, Paco? See what I mean? We'd like to welcome next Juan Tejada, who is the founder of the Tejano Conjunto Festival.
They told me I was going to come after the Little Joe video. That's okay. We adapt. Con el permiso del Creador, the Great Spirit, and all of the ánimas de este lugar sagrado aquí, all of our indigenous ancestors of this sacred place, and con el permiso de la familia Jimenez, all of his wife Elida, all of his children, his brothers and sister, con el permiso de todos ustedes aquí presente, we are here to remember and honor and honor Flaco Jimenez. And as you've heard and as you've read this whole past week, he was one of our greats, you know. He's the only conjunto artist to have won 6 Grammys, including the Lifetime Achievement Award. He was the conjunto artist and Tejano artist in general, I think, that was the most well-known throughout the whole world. Recording artist, composer, cantante, gran acordeonista. You know, Flaco, coming from, he was actually the third generation West Side accordionist. His grandfather, Patricio Jimenez, played little, passed it on to his father, Santiago Jimenez Sr., and then Flaco, the third generation of the great Jimenez family tradition of accordionists and conjunto artists here from the west side of San Antonio, and San Antonio in general. I came to know Flaco from a different side when I was very young, and the whole Jimenez family. When I was 9 years old, my father loved la música de Don Santiago Jimenez Sr., Flaco's father. And he wanted one of his children to learn how to play accordion. My older brother, Frank, didn't take to the accordion. My sister didn't either. And I was the next in line, and I showed some musical talent. So he looked in the phone book. Remember the phone book? And he looked up Santiago Jimenez. And he saw that he was living on Arriba Street on the west side. So he took me one Saturday morning, I was 9 years old, to meet Santiago Jimenez and see if he would teach me how to play the accordion. I didn't even have an accordion at that time. But Santiago Jimenez Jr., Flaco's brother, was actually that Santiago Jimenez that was in the phone book, and he was a young 19-year-old accordionist also in his father's traditional style, and he was just beginning his first conjunto. And he told my father that Don Santiago Jimenez, his father, was living in Dallas at that time and working there as a janitor. But that my father wanted that he could teach me how to play the accordion, and he ended up charging my father $3 for every tune that I learned. He would play the first tune I learned was Don Santiago's La Piedrera, classic and standard in the conjunto music repertoire, just like Viva Seguin and others that Don Santiago composed, and that Santiago Jr. and Flaco and all of us learned coming from that Jimenez family tradition. And then in the band that Santiago Jr. formed at that time, he met my cousin Bobby and my cousin Tony, who were young musicians at that time also, and they ended up playing in his band guitar, and Bobby played guitar and Tony played drums. And when Tony got out of the band, I played with Santiago Jimenez Jr. y su conjunto on drums for 2 years when I was like 11, 12, and 13 years old. I knew of Flaco. Flaco was older than Santiago. I don't think that I met him at that time, at least I don't remember, but claro que lo conocíamos, and he was already popular on the accordion. And then I think it wasn't until 1982, with the first Tejano Conjunto Festival in San Antonio that we did, and the first day that we had it on Friday there at the Mercado. I don't know if some of y'all may remember it. It's been like 44 years now from the Tejano Conjunto Festival. I hired all three Jimenezes. Don Santiago Jimenez Sr. y sus valedores played with his band. Then Flaco Jimenez y su conjunto played with his band. Then Santiago Jimenez Jr. y su conjunto played with his band. After the father played, we was towards one of the last acts that evening, we reunited Don Santiago Jimenez Sr. on accordion, Flaco Jimenez on bajo sexto, and Santiago Jr. on bass. And I think that's the first and only time, as far as I classic recordings from the Tejano Conjunto Festival with all three Jimenezes. And that was the very first year in 1982. Over the years, yes. That's a very special memory for me. That my first teacher and the great Jimenez family tradition and the three Jimenezes playing together. And there were a lot of very special memories at the Tejano Conjunto Festival that I could recall, but I'm just going to recount a couple of things. There's always been a very special connection between the poster contest, because we had a poster contest every year for the Tejano Conjunto Festival, and just this mysterious connection with the cosmos and things as they happen. So in 1994, the Tejano Conjunto Festival, the winning poster that year was by Jacinto Guevara, who lives here on the east side, and he painted from a photo of Los Caporales, which was one of the first bands, and not the first band that Flaco Jimenez played with. Los Caporales, I think, was 15 or 16 years old. And there's a photo with Flaco Jimenez playing the accordion, and then Henry Zimmerly, I think, on bajo sexto, and Big Red on bass, and other important conjunto musicians. So he painted that photo, and he won the poster contest that year. And that was the year, 1994, that the only inductee into the Conjunto Music Hall of Fame was Flaco Jimenez. 1994. Come 30 plus years later to last year's Tejano Conjunto Festival, Flaco played many Tejano Conjunto Festivals over the 43 years that we've had it. 1 year was postponed for the pandemic, but he played many years, and these last years, I think he played like 13 years in a row. He used to rotate a little bit because there's a lot of good conjunto musicians out there. So last year, in 2024, at the 43rd Annual Tejano Conjunto Festival, Flaco performed, as he performed on Sunday, many years in a row with Max Baca, Los Tex Maniacs there. And he wasn't, last year in 2024 was the last time he performed at the Tejano Conjunto Festival. He wasn't able to make it this year in May in 2025, but the winning poster for this year's festival in 2025 was the image of Flaco. I mean, we see that poster around here somewhere. So Flaco was there in spirit, even though he couldn't perform this year. Because last year was the last year he performed at the Tejano Conjunto Festival. We have lost one of the greats in the history of Tejano and conjunto music. But while his accordion maybe silenced the music, and he left over 100 or more recordings in all different formats, will live with us forever. He was one of the verdadera voces del pueblo tejano, del pueblo mexicano tejano, del pueblo chicano. He was a simple, humble man. I will always remember the after parties that we had with Flaco at the Tejano Conjunto Festival there in the parking lot. Some of y'all may remember. And then a couple of times that we went to his house and partied with him all night. And a couple of times we went to other people's houses and partied all night long. And I'll remember the evenings at the Blue Cat Studios with Joe Trevino and Kim and all the músicos that we sat out there when he was recording, and the stories that he told us, and the music that he left us, and the memories that he left us. So Flaco Jimenez will never die. And if you'll join me in saying presente, he will always be in our hearts and minds and with our music and in our souls. And Flaco will live forever. Flaco Jimenez, presente!
person telling stories about Flaco and drinking and having fun. It's funny because we've all seen him like that. But enjoying life. Enjoying life. And we only get one shot at it, right? So it's my honor to bring to the stage, I know, two of our favorite people, and I know you'll agree with me on this. Our former mayor, Ron Ehrenberg, and his beautiful First Lady forever, the First Lady of San Antonio and HEB Executive, Erica Prosper.
Good evening, everyone. I, like you, am going to have a hard time looking at that accordion and not thinking of Flaco. But I do want to say to the family, thank you for sharing him with us, with the world for so many years. Let's face it, fellas, all of us who have wives who love conjunto music have Flaco to thank, because it doesn't take a whole lot of talent to dance to conjunto music. And I know that's part of why Erica and I are together, is because we enjoyed Flaco's music on the dance floor. But I will say that what this city is grateful for is that we have become known throughout the world as a city of compassion, of humility, of arts, of the Mexican-American tradition, and Flaco was the perfect representation of our city. And so God bless Flaco Jimenez, to the Jimenez family. Thank you for your gifts that you've given the world. And so let me now introduce my wife, Erica.
Primeramente estoy aquí representando the 956. As a young woman growing up in the valley, Flaco's music was part of my existence in the fields, in our backyard as we danced. With the small amount of money that we had to enjoy life, he was an active part of that existence and the desire for more. So from that perspective, I want to thank everyone who continues to listen to his music, and I want to give our pésame as well from our family. From a mother's perspective, I am here to tell you how important it has been to include his music in the education of our son, in his culture and his future. And I'm also here on behalf of the over 188,000 HEB partners who understand that Texas wouldn't be Texas without Flaco Jimenez. And thank you all. Y que viva Flaco para siempre.
One last thing, why I mentioned the after parties. For those of you who have known Little Joe and Flaco and Santiago, these men truly know the hidden secrets of the universe, but you have to go to one of those after parties.
We're going to be hearing those stories all night. Right, Santiago? Okay. Now, ahora sí, we want to invite Gilbert Reyes of Horner Accordions to say a few words.
Primeramente, on behalf of Horner, I want to say condolences to the Jimenez family. And thank you for letting me be part of the family. I've known Flaco for many years. And I got to know him really well when I started working with him because we wanted to do a special accordion, the Flaco Jimenez series accordion. And as I was flying today
I was remembering some of the stories. And it was, I believe, 2011. Flaco and I were in California. We were promoting the Flaco Jimenez Signature Series accordion. I believe Chris Stratch was with us. And we were at this festival. And this gentleman comes up to me and he says, Mr. Reyes, is it possible that Flaco can sign one of these accordions that I just bought, the Signature Series? I said, absolutely. We talked to Flaco. Flaco went ahead and grabbed the accordion, started signing it. And then the gentleman looks at me and he says, by the way, Mr. Reyes, I think there's something wrong with the accordion. I go, what do you mean? He said, no disrespect, but there is something different about it. I go, well, tell me. And Flaco is signing and he's kind of listening. And the guy says, well, I play accordion. I've been playing for some years, not as good as Flaco, but when I play that accordion, it doesn't sound like Flaco. So I'm looking at Flaco, and Flaco has this big grin on his face, right? And he's just kind of signing it, and he gives it back to him, and he says to them, no es el acordeón, es el mono. It's not the accordion, it's the man, basically, that's what he said. So we were laughing, you know. So that was Flaco, always making a joke. But when I started working with Flaco, I had no idea, you know, because we needed to find out his tuning and stuff like that. So I went to his house, and the first thing I noticed at his workstation was this, some bellows, tuning bellows, if you will. There was an old piano bellow, and he had two pieces of wood on each side. He glued them, right? And so on the top it has a hole. That's how you tune you get a reed and you listen to it. That's how you tune it. I'm like, okay. I thought it was going to be something different, but that's cool, you know? And when you tune a reed, for example, a reed has two parts. It's got a tongue and it's got a metal base. And Flaco, I've known for many years that he does his own tuning, right? He did his own tuning, repaired his own accordions, and he had his particular sound. So I thought, okay, he's probably going to get one of these interesting tools because I've been going to the factories for many years in Germany and Italy, and they have all this equipment. Well, Flaco takes out a clothespin, you know, guia, jams it into the reed and just starts filing. I'm like, wow, unbelievable. I had never seen that before. I said, no, man, you don't mind. I said, okay. So then I thought, okay, so he fixed the reed and he showed me how to do this. And then I noticed there was an old pot with wax because the reeds are attached to the los burros, reed blocks, right? With wax. So he's heating up this thing on his table, an old pot, and he's got an old spoon that he bent, and he's grabbing the wax and he's putting it on there real carefully. And I'm like, unbelievable. I've never seen that before. You know, so here he was working with all these handmade tools. It was just remarkable. I thought, man, to me it was raw. It was direct, and it was great. Just like him, right? You know, and for the Signature Series accordion, his tuning was unique, right? We call it swing tuning. I don't want to get really technical, but for example, when you hear the note of an accordion, it kind of vibrates. Well, he had it tuned right in the middle. It didn't vibrate too much or too little. In other words, it wasn't too wet or too dry, so it was right in the middle. But another thing that he did was he modified the accidentals, the 3 buttons on the top of the accordion, right? And I said, well, why do you do that? He said, well, it's because I play a lot of chromatic scales. So we were going back and forth. Well, should I include that onto the Signature Series or not? He said, well, you know, people don't play like me, so just do the standard tuning, the swing tuning, and forget about the rest. I said, okay, well, we'll do that. So I said, I'm going to need some reed locks, okay? I need the way you tune them. So he sent them to me, and then a week later he called me and said, Gil, you got the reed locks, right? I go, yeah. How did they look? He See, he was very proud of his work. He says, did the wax look okay? I go, yeah, because it's going to Germany, right? Yeah. What about the tuning? Was it good? I said, Flaco, it's great. Thank you, you know. So he was that kind of a guy. He was, you know, into the details with his accordion. So basically the sound came from his hands, his soul, his homemade tools. His ability to modify the accordion to fit him was so unique. To Flaco, the accordion was everything. He would just call me just to say, hey, you know, I'm doing a new tuning, you know, I'm going to do a Corona 3, and we're going to do this and that, or I found a new method to fix it. Every time he spoke about accordions, he lit up like a kid, you know. Even when we were together, he was like in a different plane when we were talking about accordions. The accordion was his safe place. It was his purpose, his joy. And through it, he gave joy to the world. I'm truly going to just miss Flaco. Not just the legend, but the man I got to work with, laugh with, and learn from. Rest in peace, maestro. Thank you for the music. Thank you for the magic. Gracias.
Thank you, Gilbert. And we all know that he represented Horner to the best of his ability, and because of Flaco's playing, encouraged younger generations to come to play Horner accordions as well. So thank you very, very much, Gilbert. At this time, we'd like to bring up Christina Ball from the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center.
We have lost a Mexican-American Tejano hero. So it is a moment of sadness, but it is also a moment of pride and joy, because we are happy for the legacy that he left, that Flaco left, and the joy that he brought to so many of us, to so many people beyond this room, beyond this auditorium. He was the authentic representation of Texas Mexican working class people. And he always carried that proudly. Con una bandera muy alta. And that is, to me, that is the biggest gift that he left all of us. This morning, I woke up at 4 in the morning, and I think we've talked about several of the speakers, like Juan and others, have talked about the spirits being moved. And I remembered, I went back to 2006. I was in San Benito. I was at the Narciso Martinez Cultural Arts Center, and there I had the honor and privilege of coordinating the memorial services for another Tejano music great, Texas Mexican music great, Valdemar Huerta, or Freddie Fender. He passed away in 2006. And I thought, well, maybe the compadres are joining up in heaven right now, reforming the Texas Tornadoes and reforming, the Mexican arm of the Texas Tornadoes. Freddie was born in 1937, and Flaco was born in 1939, I believe. And yes, and they were both veterans. They both served their country. And another just interesting point that I thought, both of them were influenced by Louisiana music. Freddie by swamp pop music, and Flaco apparently was inspired by Clifton Chenier to pick up the accordion. because he liked how Clifton Chenier made it sound happy, made the accordion sound happy, and that's what Flaco wanted to do. A couple of weeks ago, just a few weeks ago, in this very theater, on this very stage, we also showcased some films of some more Tejano music greats. The new documentary of Selena and the new documentary of Johnny Canales. We have so many Texas Mexican musicians and culture workers to be proud of. So many of them. And Flaco distinguishes himself in being the one that took this music worldwide, not just in the Americas, internationally in the Americas, but intercontinentally. You know, he was in Europe, in Asia, and he was the one that introduced our music, and by extension, us Mexican Americans, Tejanos, to the rest of the world. We find ourselves in a difficult time. You know, Mexican Americans have always been resisting, you know, with our own culture, dancing, listening to the music, and we find ourselves in an era where we're back to square one, or even worse, where we're having to defend our culture. We have to continue defending our culture, continue defending our music, and that legacy is going to be up to the rest of us to continue. At the Guadalupe Cultural Arts Center, we do have the Conjunto Festival every year, like Juan mentioned, and we were very proud this year that the winning image of the poster, it's, by the way, it's in one of the flower arrangements right there, and Juan showed off the t-shirt, and I have the same t-shirt, but mine is bedazzled. And thanks to Rachel over there. Rachel bedazzled it for me. And so we were very proud to have this image because we knew, you know, that probably unfortunately, we thought we might not have Flaco for very long. We were also very happy to have him last year in 2024 at the Tejano Conjunto Festival. I believe that was his second to last performance, but it sure was like the last public performance, and you'll find many videos on YouTube of that performance, you know, for everybody to enjoy. You can go back there and see it. And at the Guadalupe Latino bookstore in the heart of the West Side, on the corner of Guadalupe and Brazos, this May we did set up an exhibit called Documenting Our Cultura, and we have a whole section on Flaco that we were able to put together a mini exhibit of his life with the collection of community archivist Ramon Hernandez. And then we also have work from photographers Lupito Acuña and Maria Elena Villarreal. So if you feel moved to just connect some more, the exhibit is still up and it will be up for several more months. And we invite all of you to keep our culture alive. And to all of you músicos out there, I've seen a lot of músicos out there. Thank you very much for giving us your gift of music. Thank you for sharing it with us. We certainly appreciate it because you make life more joyful for all of us. Que en paz descanse, Flaco Jimenez.
Thank you very much, Christina. How many of y'all have listened to Flaco's music for at least 20 years? 30 years. 40 years. 50 years. If you're 50, it's time to take your medication. I'm just helping y'all out right now. Okay. But those of you that are just arriving, we want to thank everyone on behalf of myself, Shelley Lottis. It's been my honor here to honor such a great friend, mentor, fellow peer, fellow West Sider. And we get a little rough around the edges. Where's the West Side tonight? West Side. I hope everybody got their cars because there's West Siders on the East Side. You're not responsible for the actions of West Side people, okay? And yeah, you know the price of insurance right now. I doubt that we all have it. But music is such a powerful gift. I was speaking to Flaco's family not too long ago for the Luminaria Arts that we had at the Aiden, because I was sharing with them that I do music support for hospice patients. I go in and I entertain and thank you. But that is not about me or about a celebrity status. That is about what music can do for one human being to another. And music is such a beautiful, powerful gift that God only gave to certain people. And He certainly was very generous when it came to Flaco. Very generous. So we praise God for that gift. So at this moment, he entered the beautiful gates of heaven at 7:05, which is the time right now. So we're going to do a moment of silence, please.
It is with a profound, sad, and grieving heart that I offer my deepest heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, and fans of my dear friend, Flaco Jimenez. The music world lost a great gifted talent, and the people lost a great and kind human being. You know, I don't always remember when, how, and where I meet people, but with Flaco, totally different. It must have been 71, 72. We were performing at a festival in San Diego, California. I got there, went backstage, and saw Flaco standing there. I walked up to him, and the first thing he said was, "Está frío como un cabrón." Oh God, laughing because those are words my dad would use so often. Flaco, there are so many wonderful memories and stories to share with the people. But for now, I'm asking you to save me a place on stage, if not on stage, backstage, wherever you are. Rest in peace, hermano. Rest in peace. Tu amigo Lucho.
From one icon to another. And we have two very special guests here that are amazing musicians from Texas Tornadoes. Can y'all please help welcome Ernie and Speedy?
Well, we spent, actually, both Speedy and I are the rhythm section, the drummer and bass player for the Texas Tornadoes. And it was an honor to play with Flaco and tour with him. We lived on tour buses together, we ate together, we traveled together, and pretty much lived together with him for about 30 years on the road. One of the most memorable shows that we did was in Japan, Mount Fuji, Japan. We all flew to Japan, to Tokyo, Japan. And to see the Japanese people just really getting into conjunto music, like I couldn't believe it. I'm just jumping around, really into Flaco.
And it was just an amazing thing. I'd never seen it. I didn't think the Japanese would really be into conjunto music like that, but since music's a universal language, it's just mind-blowing. And just one particular show we did in Madrid, Spain, and we had to catch a flight the next morning to go to Sweden, and we couldn't fly. We didn't know where Flaco was, and he had gone to do a recording session. From the time we were done playing, he went to do a recording session somewhere, and we were worried that he was not going to make the plane the next morning to Sweden. But here he comes, right at the last minute before they close the door. When that plane, here comes Flaco, So it's mind-blowing. And anyway, I'll let Speedy tell you the story.
I'm sure most of you got to hear Flaco play a lot, but the best I saw him play was in hotel rooms. 15, 30 people in one room, and half of them were playing music I never heard before. We never played it. It was fantastic. We went to record, San Jose Mission. We did a video there, and he and Oscar Tejas were just playing the most beautiful music I had ever heard. And I can't believe that, well, I wish y'all could have heard it too. I'm sure you did. But the most amazing thing was Flaco and I had one thing in common. We're both at Fort Pope, Louisiana, doing basic training. And that was something to him. I kind of forgot all about it. But to Flaco, that was very special, being in the military. And one other thing was Flaco got to record with the Rolling Stones, Mick and Keith. Max could probably tell you more about that. But that was a brilliant thing for me to listen to, was Flaco and Max play with the Rolling Stones back in the day. And that was a long time ago, too, couldn't think about it. Okay, y'all, thank you very much.
I was looking for my glasses and they're in my hand. Thank you guys. I'm sure the stories that all of these musicians and friends over the years have. We're going to be bringing up Dan Margulies, the writer and former producer of the Tejano Conjunto Festival.
It's really an honor to be included in the celebration of Flaco with him and his family and with all of you also. Thanks. And just wanted to, Conjunto is, it's grounded in community and no one defined and stood at the heart of that community more than Flaco. The innovators and the current, the founders and the current innovators, they're all defined by single names. People like Narciso and Valerio and Mingo and Rabbit, Toby, Josh, Max. All these single name people, nobody is more singular than Flaco. The embodiment of the very best of music and of the soul of San Antonio and of around the world. It's really impossible to characterize the full impact of Flaco's music, not just on Conjunto, but because he transformed all of American music itself. We all know the trajectory of his life and how he came to his musical innovation. A lot of it comes from first perfecting Conjunto with his father, and as Gilbert was talking about, with his tuning, playing the babo, playing the accordion, and then perfecting the music with so many of the other giants. And for me, it's the music he made with Fred Ojeda. But there's so much of the incredible stuff that he made. There's no reason to pick a favorite because it's endless. And of course, Flaco took it much further, and he reimagined Conjunto music for his own time and then for our time in a way which really changed the whole vibe of American music. And who else in American music can be said to have done that across genres? I don't really think there's anybody else. And so that's why you all know that list of people that was just mentioned, all the people who wanted to play with him and get a taste of his magic. And all of the obits were running through all these names they're familiar to. and there was only one of Flaco as the consistent follow-through. Just back when we were sitting there, Hector Saldana pointed out that actually Flaco's last performance was at the Conjunto Festival, which highlights the best of all the music. And to me, that's really meaningful. I'm a total outsider to Texas. I don't even live in Texas. I had the honor of running the festival for a few years, and so the entry point to that is, you know, what Conjunto does is bring people together and then fold them into the community should they find a place. And there's a lot of people here who can tell you all sorts of stories of music making with Flaco outside of the big stages and the lights. And for me, it was one night with Flaco and Santiago. It was the three of us at Santiago's studio drinking beer all night. And Flaco played traditional Swiss polkas the entire night until 6 in the morning. And then I drove Santiago and Flaco over to the Carnitas place and dropped them off because I was tired. But they wanted to keep going. They did, actually. Flaco had an inexhaustible supply of those tunes. And everywhere he went around the world, he absorbed them and he learned them and he wanted to play them. So, incredible. So now, with his passing, we're forced to contemplate a world without Flaco playing in it and to consider his immense legacy, particularly here in San Antonio. And, I feel like it's right here. It's with the love that follows him everywhere that he went and with the love that poured out and the grief that poured out with his passing. And we witness it in the success that Conjunto is as a living, very vibrant tradition across Texas and across the country. And he directed the eyes and hearts towards Texas and towards his hometown here in San Antonio, which shaped him and treasured him and watched him take over the world. And since none of us are ever going to forget him and no one will ever forget him, he actually will never truly be gone. Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Next up, I'm gonna bring up a friend of mine who is actually responsible for putting this memorial together. And she is also a luminaria and former TCF producer. And please welcome Yarida Lozano. When shorties set the stage, we get step stools. Good evening. My name is Yarida Lozano. I'm the Executive Director of Luminaria. It has been an absolute honor and privilege to assist the family of Flaco Jimenez tonight in producing tonight's memorial, Flaco's final curtain call. Our dear friend Jesse Borrego wishes he could be here tonight, but he sends his love and a message that I'm going to do my best at speaking in Jesse. Para el gran maestro Flaco Jimenez, nuestro tesoro, nuestro héroe, nuestra iluminación, nuestra inspiración. Sincere sympathy for toda la familia y los amigos de Flaco on behalf of the Borrego familia and Jesse Borrego Sr. Eran carnales y camaradas de Conjunto, en paz y poder descansen. As we say, adios Flaco, we feel your sorrow, but also your joy at the legacy Flaco has left behind. He inspired those of us from the barrio that grew up with his music, but he elevated our cultura with his artistry to the world. And for that, we are eternally grateful. Ahora está con su papá y su familia que lo esperan, along with all his músico camaradas to play in the big conjunto del cielo para el Creador. And his music now is in the heaven sphere, and for all the universe to hear. Que viva Flaco Jimenez! So now I'm going to read the acknowledgements. Arturo and Lisa Jimenez, Javier and Raquel Fernandez would like to thank the following for all of their help with this memorial celebration.
the City of San Antonio, and Mayor Gina Ortiz Jones, the Department of Arts and Culture, Crystal Jones, Diana Hidalgo, Victoria Garcia, and all the staff that advocate for the arts and artists. Connect with community and make San Antonio an international world-class destination. Thank you, Crystal.
Thank you.
The Carver Community Center, Cassandra Parker Nowicki and Ernie Ramirez and staff, they have been so generous by donating the use of this beautiful historic theater. With the Guadalupe Theater under repair, this sister space is equally as significant to San Antonio and the arts. Their new season will be announced later this month, bringing internationally renowned artists to San Antonio. Flaco has also played here. Luminaria. In return, I would like to acknowledge Lisa Jimenez for leading this effort, answering all the phone calls, and showing up in person over the last 3 days. Her grace and strength is a testament to the love of family, whether by blood or by bond. HEB Helping Here. While this portion of the program isn't always the most exciting, we could not have without our sponsors. More than just the logo, HEB has always been the first to answer the call for help. We see this time and time again, and who doesn't love their tortillas and sushi? No store does more. Thank you, Erica Prosper, Daya Campos, Lori Flores, Stephen Villela, who is volunteering to run the live stream today, which all the fans were counting on, so thank you so much, Stephen. And like Lori said, Flaco makes me proud to be a San Antonian. I think we can all agree with that. WellMed Charitable Foundation, Daniel Calderon and Brittany Pratt. Daniel answered the call to support tonight's event and did not hesitate. As you may recall, Flaco served as a WellMed ambassador, and in the pandemic, he, Max Baca, Josh Baca, performed live online while we were all in quarantine. So thank you all. Prod 77, Christian Moeller, the man behind the screen, is Chief of Marketing for Luminaria, and he's also volunteering his marketing and design skills, and has been working around the clock the past 3 days. It took 3 days to put this together. He produced the invitation, the audio, the videos that you're enjoying tonight. More than an event, this is a call to service for Christian and myself to properly honor Flaco. David and Sarah Chavez of Ingenuity. Many of us know David and Sarah, even though they do not live here. They are big supporters of Tejano and Conjunto Music, producing Vegas Tejano Convention every summer, and are currently fundraising and planning for Flaco's statue. They too answered the call to support this evening's program. Even though they cannot be here tonight, they send their love to the family and friends. More than a job, for all the people and companies mentioned, this is community. Also special thanks to former Mayor Ron Merenberg, Max Baca and Los Tex-Maniacs for always being there for Flaco, Santiago Garza, Dwayne Hayden for flying in from Denmark. Thank you so much, Dwayne. Shelly Lares, who stopped everything to be here tonight. Deacon Adam Garza, Marielena Villarreal for documenting Conjunto over the years and volunteering and multitasking this evening. You can't miss Marielena. Thank you so much for answering the call. And of course, Flaco's #1 fan and my favorite volunteer, Rachel Martinez. I can't even look, I don't want to cry. Rudy Lopez from Lopez Entertainment. And a special mention, Saul Ibarra, who was a former accordion student of Lorenzo Martinez at the Taller, who could not be here tonight, but he sent us all the guest books overnight from Georgia. Please do sign the guest books as they mark this significant day. All of Flaco's friends and families, thank you. I'm sure we missed people, but know that the family is grateful. Somos familia. We love you all. Okay. I'm still up. Okay, next. We have a surprise guest, Poet Laureate Emeritus, Andrea Vocab Sanderson.
What an honor to be here to speak and sing to the memory of such an amazing man who helped to paint so many sceneries vibrantly with his work. If we were in a black church, you might hear this. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. 'Twas grace that taught my heart to fear, and grace my fears relieved. How precious did that grace appear the hour I first believed. And my favorite verse. Through many dangers, toils, and snares, I have already come. 'Twas grace that brought us safe thus far, and grace will lead us home. Polished, pointy, weather-worn boots move across checkered tiles. Those steps to the left, those steps to the right. Lovers' fingers interlocked as hips sweetly sway. Can you see it? Gritos thrown to the San Antonio skies. Slender, light tan hands moving like electricity. Fingers flowing across keys as fast as a cyclone, a Texas tornado, or as slow as a syrupy bolero. Accordion music, accordion, moving across souls and melodies in norteños, in corridos, in conjunto, conjuring ancestors to call us to the threshold of an unseen realm. Almas uplifted, families united, united at smoky barbecue pits in the backyard, united at Brackenridge Park, united at Calaveras Lake, flea markets deep, deep down I-35. Yeah. Your distinct musicianship filled up the world with la voz of the squeeze box. On Saturday mornings, cleaning sessions con abuelas y tías. So many moments gave way to your soundtracks. Wooden window sills uplifted as box fans blew out the sound of culture courageously. Reunions, graduations, quinceañeras, fiestas, festivals, county fairs, function after function, Flaco kept it funky. Arms expanding like a crane mid-flight, then swooping in aggressively as shiny buttons were pressed past the breaking point. A finesse punctuated the air and took us everywhere we needed to be. Flaco Jimenez, your music took us and will always take us everywhere we need to be. God bless you.
Did you just make that up? Because I think she did. Like, that's incredible. At this time, we're going to be honored to hear from Flaco's family. So we'd like to invite Natalie Marquez, Flaco's granddaughter, to speak.
Very much appreciated. There's a lot of friends. I wrote a personal speech that I hope my grandpa's out there listening to me. And to me, abuelo, I will forever miss you. Since I was a little girl, I would look forward to going over and having breakfast with you. To get up early in the morning, having you wait for me until I was ready. I would have run to your papito until you thought that just give me 10 more minutes. And you would always tell me, no rush me how over here. You would let me choose wherever I wanted to eat, even if you didn't feel like eating there. But you would for me. And we would make the best memories, and that I would hold on to for forever. When I was little and got in trouble, he would cry and tell my mom, no le regañes, mija. You made me feel like a daughter, knowing I never had a father figure. You would always tell me, no te preocupes, mija, yo soy tu papá. And knowing that, I was always content. And knowing that, I was always content and reassured that I had you no matter what. I wish I can hear you sing me one more song and I just dance around enjoying your voice. I wish I can get all dressed up one more time and run to your room and tell you and show you and hear you tell me how beautiful I look. You taught me how to drive, how to deal with my emotions. You gave me consejos. You even helped me put out a tooth when I was a little girl. You tickled me so much until it came out. The beautiful people, you were Flaco Jimenez, their idol, the person who played their favorite music. But to me, you were mi abuelo, mi tata, y yo tu consentida. And that will forever hurt me, but also something I am proud to have had. And that I cherish and hold close to my heart always. Even though you're not here anymore, your voice still plays in my head. Your I love you stay with me, and your music brings me to tears and comfort. I hope that you're watching over me and that you see me accomplish all the dreams that I've told you about. You've given me the best memories in life. I am speaking on behalf of my family, my mother Cynthia, my brother Matthew, and my sister Bella. As we mourn in your absence, I will be here to comfort them and tell them don't cry, because you would always tell my mom, no llores mija, todo va a estar bien. You're in a better place now, playing recording up in heaven. celebrating all that you've achieved. I will hold you close to my heart always, and I will close my eyes now and imagine we're together again. And every time I get ready, I will look up and imagine you telling me how beautiful I am. As my grandpa once told me, he doesn't want us to cry when he is gone. He wants people to be happy now that he's in a better place. Te extraño muchísimo. Until we meet again, Papa. Te amo para siempre.
Well, our loved ones are a piece of us forever. And I know that all you have to do is talk out loud to your grandpa, wherever you are, in your room, in the car, outside, and he's going to be listening to you. At this time, I'd like to welcome Javier and Raquel Fernandez, Flaco's son-in-law and daughter.
Good evening, everyone. After listening to everybody tonight, I've been trying all night to try to find the courage to say what I want to say. I will vouch for everybody that has spoken about the after parties. I was there for many of them. To Gilbert Reyes, to all the people that are here tonight, we so humbly appreciate everyone we know. But I'm going to read what I wrote here. Thank you for being here tonight with us. It is indeed a night of celebration of life for my father-in-law. He touched so many lives around the world, and we thank each of them and everyone here tonight to help celebrate the life of our great father. I loved him. I loved him like a father, and he loved me like a son. I will always remember having that bond with him. My wife and I shared so many memories together with him that we will always cherish. And so, speaking of a memory, I have one that I will share with you. I always remember making plans to take my father-in-law to breakfast almost every Sunday morning. We would set a time, at least by 7:30 a.m., and off we went. Now, there were some times that we did not pre-plan a breakfast because we had plans on a Saturday night to go out with friends, family, maybe a get-together, or maybe even a dance. And we would surely find ourselves coming in late after hours thinking we would sleep in. So many times when we would get home, I would tell my wife, I think your dad's going to call us in the morning for breakfast. Sure enough, Sunday morning by 6 a.m., that's no lie. My father would call, and I'd answer. I'd say, hello, and the conversation would go like this. Mijo, ¿están dormidos? I said, no, suegro, but we really were. And then I would ask, ¿todo está bien? Is everything okay? He said, sí, todo está bien, everything is fine. At this point, I knew what he was trying to figure out. He was trying to figure out how to ask what he wanted to say next. And I already knew what he was going to say. he would ask, ¿Ya almorzaron? Did you already eat breakfast? I say, no, suegro. Another pause. And then I would say, would you like to go have breakfast? And he would say, well, since y'all are really awake, sure, why not? Yeah, that was unexpected. He said, ya estoy listo, estoy afuera en el cuartito. He had a room where he would fix his accordions. And to that said, again to Gilbert Days, he did have that little homemade tool that we saw. And I was just amazed about the work he did. That's a tradition that we will miss. We will love you forever, Dad. We had so many memories of him being able to tour California, New York, all across the state, including with the Texas tornadoes. I could tell you, from my heart, he played with us. Thank you all, and God bless.
Thank you all for coming and celebrating my dad's legacy. His music will live forever. My dad loved his fans. Every time I was there with him, he would say, "Mija, open your Facebook." and say hello to everyone for me. He waited for all the comments to come in, and I would read them to him. That made him very, very happy. My dad was a very positive, humorous, strong, humble man, even when he was going through his life challenges. I'm going to miss all his phone calls, his humor. And I am so grateful to spend all this time with him till the end. He closed his eyes, and I couldn't wake him anymore. We had said our goodbyes, expressed our love. He told me, "Mija, ya me voy. I love you. You are my baby girl." My heart broke into pieces. So many memories, so many memories. I will never forget my dad, and I miss him so much. I want to thank my brother, Flaco Jimenez, and his beautiful wife, Lisa Jimenez, for opening home, taking care of our dad 24/7. God gave you all the strength. And to my husband, Javier, for always watching over my dad. On whatever my dad needed, Javier was always there. I want to say a little poem that I wrote. Well, I didn't write, but I wrote one that I thought was appropriate. If I could have one lifetime wish, a dream that would come true, I pray to God with all my heart for yesterday and you. In life, I loved you dearly. In death, I love you still. In my heart, you had a place no one else can fill. You left behind my broken heart and happy memories too. But I never want memories, Dad. I only wanted you. Rest in peace, big guy. That's what I always called him, my big guy. I will always love you, Tata. I love you, your daughter Raquel. Thank you so much. And thank you all for always loving my dad. God bless.
That's one of the things that people do not realize about artists, is that you become, in the public eye, you belong to the public now. Your life changes. Once you're an artist, it's a different life. And I'm sure Flaco missed numerous special occasions. Christmases, Thanksgivings, birthdays, births, graduations, baptisms, you name it. But that's one of the sacrifices about being an artist, is that you do it for the passion of the music and you do it for the fans. So yes, thank you to the family for sharing him with people all over the world. Thank you. We are mourning the loss of an incredible musician, but they are mourning a father, a grandfather, a tío, a primo. And we've all been there. So, again, our love, and if we could wrap our arms around all of you, everywhere from around the world, is praying for you and keeping y'all in prayer. Now I'd like to ask Arturo and Lisa Jimenez, Flaco's son and daughter-in-law.
I hate goodbyes. One of the many lines my father-in-law would quote from one of his favorite movies, Dumb and Dumber. I know my nieces and nephews don't know much about that. He loved quoting movies, follow up with a smirk or a laugh. I'm Lisa, one of Flaco's daughters-in-law. We thank you to everyone who's come out, to celebrate his beautiful soul. I've been blessed to call my father-in-law the last 19, 20 years. He will be missed by many for years and years to come. I know I will miss him immensely. He came to live with us, the last 2 months of his life. I work from home, so I was with him 24/7, full-time job, full-time care for my father-in-law. It's an experience I'll never forget. A lot of lessons learned.